Holiday romance. Oh, we love that. Well, hello and welcome to The Moment. I'm back. I'm back in my studio. If you're watching this on YouTube, press subscribe. That'd be delightful. But it's nice to be home after nearly a week and a half away shooting for Backroads, which is an ABC TV program. If you're not familiar with it, they go off to regional areas, remote areas, small country towns, all of those things, and focus on what makes that community great. And I've just been in Nimbin and I've got to say, had a ball. It was absolutely delightful. And on the final night, there was an electrical storm of the likes I've never seen, with all those wild storms that are going on the East Coast. And it was better than going to the movies, I have to say. It was extraordinary. I think I was in it at one point. Pretty amazing. You'll see I'm wearing an Australian band T-shirt today, or Australian musician T-shirt, because that's the point. Today is Aus Music Tshirt Day. Everyone's wearing Aus Music T-shirts, which is fabulous, in order to raise funds for Support Act, who are an amazing organisation that continue vital work. They provide short-term financial support for music workers who are in crisis, mental health education, and also do training programs and services for First Nations music workers as well, and also counselling support via the Support Act Wellbeing Helpline. Come on, Steve. Up your pop. Sorry, Steve's just joining me. Come on, darling. I've missed you. Come on, you want me to pick you up, do you? This one was catching up with me, and we had a cuddle, sleeping last night. He slept next to me and got startled at one point and proceeded to jump over me, but used his claws and he's cut me inside my nose and on my lip. Yeah, that was fun. That was a nice way to wake up very quickly. And the best bit today, if you donate, all donations will be doubled until that particular double fund runs out, which is fabulous. And for the very first time, in another great initiative, they're working in partnership with commercial radio and audio, which means every single commercial radio network in Australia is championing Aus Music Tshirt Day today, which is great. Now the next step, we have to get commercial radio to play more than 20% or 25% Australian music. That would help too. Maybe that day will come. Maybe this is a step in the right direction for that. Coming up today, I've found a competition that might just fill a Eurovision-shaped hole in my heart. Since I'm not hosting Eurovision anymore, I've been looking for something to give me that dose of high camp and ridiculousness, and I think I've actually found it, okay? I don't know why I've not been across this, but I'll get into that later as I delve into my end of show fashion segment, but lots of little bite moments today for you to keep you up to date. In the last 2 days, you would have probably read the news or at least seen the pictures of a shirtless Bob Irwin winning Dancing with the Stars. Congratulations to Bob. I had totally forgotten that Bindi won this 10 years earlier in America. So it seems like Dancing with the Stars US is the Irwin University. So where the rest of us went off and did our Bachelor of Arts or whatever we did, engineering or science or maths or whatever, when you come from a showbiz family like the Irwins, you do Dancing with the Stars and graduate with top honours. He did an amazing job from the bits I saw online. I don't think I've ever watched American Dancing with the Stars. I've only ever watched clips online, and his work, incredible. Like, I suspect if Bob Irwin can sing, he is the next Hugh Jackman for us. I'm calling it now. All he needs to do is play an icon, because Hugh Jackman did Peter Allen, remember? In The Boy from Oz. I've just worked it out, if he can sing. But like, I've got goosebumps if I'm predicting this. Bob Irwin to play John Farnham in the biopic about John Farnham. He's got blonde locks. Please tell me he can sing. I don't care if you overdub it, actually. Just all singing, all dancing, all farnsy. I was going to say, what next for Bob Irwin after winning Dancing with the Stars, but we've just decided. According to the Age newspaper, they have said that he has now turned from a $10 million star, where he can ask $10 million per gig, into a $50 million star. Isn't that good? Most of us go from being $50,000 after university to a $51,000 wage. But yes, congratulations. We have a performer in the country at the moment who may or may not want to stay after what happened in Brisbane the other night. Lenny Kravitz, who continues to do fabulous things, not just with his music, but with fashion, with interior design. He's quite well renowned for his eclectic choices in interior design. Look up his Parisian apartment or his Florida house. They're all amazing. The Florida house is sort of space age futuristic, if you've still got it. The Parisian apartment is just, he's really leaned into his Parisian side of style and design. But yeah, he's an all-round talented fella, seems quite nice as well, wears a large scarf. Probably should have worn that scarf in Brisbane if it wasn't stinking hot at the time, because apparently an audience member ripped out at least 4 of his dreadlocks. I'm not here for this. I don't care what you're up to that night or how, excited you might be. Don't touch the hair of anybody, let alone somebody performing for you. It's not like that's an okay thing to do anywhere, anytime. So I'm calling that one out. Unacceptable behaviour at concerts. Have you not been to a concert before? I'm not sure. I hope you feel terrible. And we'll all know, because you'll try and sell them on eBay. We know. We know what you're doing. You know I do love an art auction and a Sotheby's auction, which is the highest end of the high end. There's been a big one in the last few days, and this is of a collection from a Japanese museum's founder who had to pay a $50 million legal debt, couldn't do it. So decided to sell one of the best-known paintings in the world as part of a collection. The estimated price for all of the items to sell came to $50 million, and the entire thing went bonkers. $88 million was raised for Kazuo Okada, who mandated the sale. He had a debt with casino mogul Steve Wynn many years ago, which he won, in fact, but then refused to pay the legal fees, which was $50 million, and got himself in a bit of a pickle and had to sell his art. But included in that collection was one of the most instantly recognisable pieces of Japanese art, the Great Wave off the coast of Kanagawa, which was made in 1830 to 1832. And you would have seen this image. It's been reproduced globally for many decades. It's part of his famous 36 Views of Mount Fuji series and possibly, one of the most famous and most reproduced Japanese artworks in the world. There are many versions of this work, but this was the actual original version, and its celebrity led to the final price of $2.8 million, which I think is actually pretty reasonable for such an iconic work. You know the one, it's the wave. It's quite beautifully and delicately crafted. It's a woodblock print, and I'm doing hand movements. You've seen it on T-shirts everywhere. It's rather incredible. And while there are various other iterations in other museums around the world, this specific copy is the one you want. But yes, 2.8 million, but it's Sotheby's, so I assume it's possibly double that in whatever economy they're in, because Australia is always half that. I do think the 2020s is the era of our biggest stars drawing back the curtain to show us who they really are. It's been interesting because that premise of showing us who they really are through a tell-all documentary does allow us in a way that perhaps we've never had access before. So there has been a change in our understanding of what access with a superstar looks like. We've had the David Beckham documentary, we've had the Vicky Beckham documentary, we've had the Beyoncés, we've had all of the big stars are getting involved in this as a way of broadening our understanding of who they are. And it's quite interesting because most of them are actually funded partially, if not wholly. Sorry, Steve, you're going to have to get off, mate. Partially, if not wholly, by the artists themselves. So it's access, but it's access that's been mediated by the gatekeepers. And I think it's really interesting. They decide that next level that they take to show us who they are, but they're still in control of it. It's not quite what we think it is. However, Cher has decided to join the ranks of those folk doing tell-all documentaries. and she is looking to make $26 million from it. Netflix are having discussions with her currently about a documentary series. She's 79 now, so I'm sure it's probably time to tell the tales that she has to tell. She's already written the first part of her biography, which came out a couple of years ago, and this will tie into that, I imagine, and the next part. So book deals, documentary deals, Netflix deals, it's all coming together. And I would never begrudge Cher all the money in the world for the joy that she has given us. It's looking at a release potentially in 2026, and she's, according to The Sun in the UK, which is not the most highly reputable of publications, but whatever, she's in advanced stages of talks. And this is my favourite part. It's a story about Cher, and guess what it's called? Have a thing, just for a bit of background music, a bit of elevator music. She's going to call it Sharing Her Story. 10 points to whoever came up with that. I love you. It's funny though, when I read the article about this, of course, I went to another bastion of journalism, the Daily Mail, and in their opening paragraph, and this is so Daily Mail, it just gave me a tidbit of information that I was not aware of, and I don't know how I missed this. This is the opener. The 79-year-old entertainer, they're just going to throw this in here. Have a listen, just drop this. Currently enjoying a 40-year age gap romance would be the subject of a 7-episode show. I love how they just threw that in there. I mean, as if the documentary isn't enough. We just need to make it a little bit salacious. I was impressed though, a 40-year age gap. I know how tired I am at this age. I'm 52. She's 79 and he's not even my age. I can't do maths. What's that? He's late 30s? 40? I don't know, maths. Like, unless she's only meeting up with him for 10 minutes a day plus living her life, I'm not sure how she does it. I don't know. Because I just feel like you might just get increasingly tired as you get older. I hope that's not the case, but I wouldn't have time for someone 40 years younger than me. I couldn't be bothered. They just wouldn't understand my need and desire to disappear from the world and sit on the couch and waste amounts of time doing sweet FA. I just need it in order to function these days. Anyway, good on you, Cher. Share your story, share the love. But she obviously has I looked it up, of course. I looked up who the partner was. His name's Alexander Edwards. He's 37, it says here. Clearly my maths is wrong. He's a music executive. He's a songwriter, a producer. He's worked with Tiger and Cher herself on a 2023 holiday album. That's where they met. Holiday romance. Oh, we love that. And he was previously in a relationship with Amber Rose. Oh, this is getting juicy. With whom he has a son. Amber Rose was Kanye West's ex at one point too. And she's gone all MAGA on us too. How do I know that? Why do I need to know that? I don't. But yes, she obviously has a penchant for the younger gentleman, and whatever floats your boat, I say, it does remind me of an era that was my favourite of hers when she was dating Tom Cruise back in 1986, when she was sporting a David Bowie in Labyrinth wig style hairstyle, but in obviously her colour, black. It was amazing. Look up the photos. I'm sure I've told you to do that before. If you haven't, just enjoy your day. Cher's hair. I would watch an episode of a documentary called Cher's Hair. Hairstyles through the ages of Cher. I'm going to pitch that. Some sad results of a survey that's just been done. This one looks official, and in fact it is. It's been done by the Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health. Clearly science is not my forte either, not that I wouldn't want it to be. But this is really actually sad. The results are in. Stardom can shorten lives by 4.6 years, according to research. And this is down to, and probably where things like Support Act are really important, touring, performing and rock and roll lifestyles have previously been found to lower life expectancy for musicians. I think we knew that in our hearts and our minds already. The touring life is not healthy in terms of connections that you would make with friends and family, or at least the severing of those connections all the time because you have to keep going off on the road. The lack of routine can often affect people quite significantly in terms of their mental health. And then there's the obvious, the drugs and the alcohol and the loneliness of being on the road. But it's even worse, not just for musicians and performers. The ones who really need to look out are the solo artists. They carry a higher mortality risk. compared to those in a band who can turn to others for emotional and practical support. That makes sense, actually. That's why the Rolling Stones are still getting out there. They all probably hate each other. And I think, in fact, they do. I know for a fact that Keith Richards calls Mick Jagger Queen. Get out there, Queenie. They're all having little digs at each other in the cutest possible way. But I think that camaraderie and at least that being together allows you to have a familiarity. It allows you to feel like you're supported. But solo artists are really worrying. And add to that, if you're a solo artist, the intense public scrutiny, the performance pressure, it's all on your shoulders. And also celebrity and fandom is really difficult, even on a tiny scale. If you're doing it all on your own, that's a lot. That's a lot for everybody to take in. Dr. Sally Ann Gross, who is from the University of Westminster in the UK and also wrote a book back in 2020 called Can Music Make You Sick? Measuring the Price of Musical Ambition, said that the results of this study spoke to the hyper-competitive world of music production, which was now dominated by social media and where fame operates to isolate the individual. And she said this, fame, it would seem, is toxic. It's interesting that we know this. I think everybody would assume that it is toxic, given what we've seen. But still we have people who strive for it. But I think it's that disconnect with musicians because they are creative people and all artists. It's not celebrity for the sake of celebrity. It's celebrity for the sake or fame for the sake of connecting with people through the medium of creativity. So it's not just wanting to be famous. It's because they want to connect. And yet for highly creative people and I guess highly emotional people, it's a world that is full of potholes that they could fall in at any time. It's actually not a great choice for somebody, but I don't know what the answer is there. That's actually really sad. Maybe there's another way to be famous. Maybe we're done. Maybe this is the end of an awful cycle where fame is damaging, where people who make things for the pleasure of others or for not just the pleasure, but the ability to connect, the ability for people to understand and learn through art. Maybe there's another way that you could create and not have to deal with the pitfalls of fame. I don't know if that's even possible in this day and age, but maybe it could be the opposite. You could do what Sia did, even though everyone knew who she was, but cover your face completely. Maybe at some point as a society we'll finally wake up to the fact that most of the reportage on celebrities is pretty brutal and not actually good. And we saw that play out with Amy Winehouse. And we were part of the media that allowed the world to watch her deteriorate. And I think it's unforgivable. And maybe, hopefully, some of the generations coming through will put a stop to it because they know how devastating and how disgraceful that kind of behaviour is. But then again, human beings are human beings and we are positively awful and have been for a long, long time. So I'm putting my faith in the younger gens. Gen Alpha, come through. Come through. Let people be famous without destroying them because that shouldn't be the payoff. And finally, the event that is possibly going to fill the Eurovision-shaped hole in my heart now that I'm no longer hosting Eurovision. I mean, Eurovision's still there, but towards the end of my time, I think the original reason why I fell in love with Eurovision was slightly dissipating. The kitsch factor, the joy, the simplicity of it, just the bonkersness of it was felt to me like it wasn't as much a part of it. It felt much more, and especially with things that happened at the various last couple of Eurovisions, that it was starting to feel more like a business than a song competition that was about songs and joy. So yeah, I need something else. And it's a place I've never looked before. I wouldn't look because I'm a feminist and I guess I've always thought that these sort of things are quite detrimental to us, or that at least they were when they first began, and that is competitions where women compete for titles of the best. And I'm talking about Miss Universe. Who knew? What is it? What's the lion can something can change their spots or I don't know. I don't even know the animal. Because frankly, there's been a bit of news around Miss Universe over the last couple of weeks, and frankly, the competition is utterly bonkers. It was held in Thailand this year, and I think this competition could give Real Housewives of Anywhere a run for its money, given how incredibly ludicrous things got. Okay, I'll give you the quick rundown of what happened, but also it includes fashion and some of the most bonkers costumes I have ever seen. This event is as camp as Christmas, and I'm here for it. And I think it's because they don't know it's as camp as Christmas. That's what makes it so endearing. The competition this year was won by Mexico's Fatima Bosch Fernandez, and she won amidst a scandal. She's 25 years old. She walked out of one of the events after being publicly criticised by the organiser. Now, the organiser is someone called Nawat Itzaragrasil, and during a pre-pageant ceremony on November 3, Nawat publicly scolded Bosch for not posting about the pageant's host country, which is Thailand, on social media, going so far as to call her a dumbhead. Unacceptable. It's in the Trump bin with that one. You do not utter such things to people in a public or private place. Nawat later apologised. However, Mexico walked out and took a lot of other contestants out in protest. So at that point, it was a little bit, is it happening, is it not? And then after that, in a separate incident during the preliminary evening gown round, I mean, I'm here for just the titles of the rounds, evening gown round. It's like it's a sport. I know I shouldn't. There's plenty of people who've done this and done really well, and it just seems funny to me. Not this though. This is not funny. On one of the nights, Miss Jamaica accidentally fell on stage and had to be rushed out of the theatre in a stretcher. She's fine, so that's good. But the drama, they had to get her out of the floor or something. And then comes the national costume segment. And this is where my joy lives. Please go and look it up today. It's just bonkers. The New York Times has even gone with it this time around with the headline, Miss Universe, salmon outfit from Miss Norway stole the show. I mean, where else are you going to read that? What other competition? Salmon outfit from Miss Norway stole the show. And if you look at the outfit, it is extraordinary. Out comes somebody, clearly a human, with a fish head and a fish body. So I'm like, oh, here comes the national costume. She's just dressed as a salmon. But lo and behold, as she's starring in the runway, the arms open up, the salmon coat, the salmon skin, to reveal salmon innards. And the internet just went off. They loved her. She stole the show, according to the New York Times, but did not place in the competition. But the outfit won our hearts. People online were saying this river runner is a stunner. That's good, isn't it? But then I thought, I need to look into the rest of these outfits. If we've got a salmon coming down for Miss Norway down the catwalk, I need to see what else is on the go here. And I'm sure I should have been across all this, but I had no idea. I just thought they wore pretty dresses in the national costume section. So I didn't think twice. But as I said, camp is Christmas. It was wild. Slovakia came out in a horse costume, a Diamante horse hat with a Diamante horse coming out of her body also, as an acknowledgement of Slovakia's proud horse breeding tradition. Yes. But the work in this stuff too, I will throw no shade on the work of these outfits. They are perfection. And they really delve into fine traditions of craft and fabulous artisans and, heaven, heaven, heaven. And I looked at some of these costumes and I've got to say Drag Race contestants could learn a thing or two from these outfits. Like, it's that good. Some of the bird costumes, seriously, I've never seen anything like it. It's stuff that you could put in a museum. It's wild. If someone wore some of these to the Met Gala, I'd be happy. This was interesting. One of the odd ones was Guinea came as not as a local icon or a spot or anything that people would know. They came as a mining initiative. I'll leave it at that. France did a very fashion and very stylised Joan of Arc national dress costume. It was all silver and quite powerful and very cool. Estonia came as a werewolf. There you go. And that was incredible. It was this huge werewolf headdress. Like, where else are you going to see this stuff? And in Switzerland, they had a delightful one. It was an expression of the history of watchmaking that, of course, the Swiss are known for their Swiss timepieces, which was beautiful. So, yeah, if you're looking for something to bring back a bit of the camp joy that comes from watching things being presented that make no sense but make all the sense in the world, then please go and look up the dresses from Miss Universe. Oh, I forgot Australia. How can I forget Australia? This was awesome, actually. Our contestant was Lee Grant. Good on you, Lee. And she was dressed in a wearable landscape that sadly in the photos looked brown, but apparently in life was quite a rich, beautiful, deep red. And it was inspired by Uluru. So it had a skirt and a bodice with a neck piece, a rather sort of large neck piece that was the rock around her neck. It was awesome. And this wearable landscape was said to be a tribute to the heart of Australia and the deep spiritual connection we all share with this land. I just say nailed it. Nailed it. And in a fine little tidbit in fashion news, American Eagle was in a lot of trouble just a few months ago with their Sydney Sweeney campaign, accused of racism and their play on the word jeans. In order to redeem themselves, they have a holiday campaign which is out as part of Thanksgiving and as we lead into the Christmas era. And they have a new face as part of that redemption. And that face is not another model, sadly not another person of colour either, which probably would have been the only move really that could have really redeemed them. But what they've gone is a voice of reason, a voice that people can trust, a face that people can trust. And that face has been around for 80-odd years. I love that 80-year-olds are getting their moment in the sun. Not sure she needs the money though, because they've gone with Martha Stewart. And look, seeing Martha Stewart in a double denim skinny jeans combo, Canadian tuxedo if you will, was not on my bingo card for 2025. But here we are. I do hope actually though that this will lead us to more campaigns acknowledging older women. I'm here. No one wants me. I'm just putting my hand up. No one needs me as their model. But it is time that they had their moment in the sun, and quite a lot recently has been said about how the older women who have been previously ignored in this era, told to disappear and question our relevance. Sorry about the cat hair all over me too. And question our own relevance. It's interesting that marketing campaigns are now starting to focus very much so on older women, on the catwalk in fashion, in modelling shoots in fashion, and hopefully this will continue in other elements of the media because, yeah, I do think, and I feel like no one's told us this, as women especially, as you get older you do drop the shackles of societal expectations, and society has told us that as we get older we become invisible, and yet inside there is growing feeling that we are becoming who we are. So that is perhaps why we've been told we're invisible, because becoming who we are could be quite dangerous. And I want to see it. I want to see it everywhere. Becoming who we are without the worry of fitting in, being hot, caring for others, all the things that come with societal pressures. And we don't have to do that anymore. So perhaps this is all about the beginning of the embracing and becoming who we are. I know I'm going to try, that's for sure. All right, on that note, that's it. And I look disgraceful if you're watching the YouTube feed. I am literally covered in a fuzz of hair on my Amel and the Sniffers shirt for Aus Music Day. I don't think Amy Taylor would mind. Got some cat hair. All right, yeah, see you next week. Can't wait. Thanks. This is an MIK-made production recorded on Wurundjeri land. Always was and always will be Aboriginal land.